Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 2021 Georgia Smart Communities Challenge informational webinar. I'm Greg McCormick, Director of the Challenge, and we're very excited to see all of you today to learn more about this opportunity. We also have Stephanie Broxton, our Community Research Manager, with us.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Stephanie will be talking specifically about this year's opportunity a bit later in the webinar. So we are recording this webinar for future use. If you need to view it at a later time, it will be posted to our media area. So Georgia Smart is now entering its fourth year of the program, and it's now being run out of the Partnership for Inclusive Innovation, or PIN, a new public-private partnership launched last year to lead coordinated statewide efforts in the state of Georgia to promote Georgia as the technological capital of the East Coast. We're very excited to be under PIN now. PIN continues to be organized out of Georgia Tech, but it is additionally guided by an advisory board made up of Georgia's Lieutenant Governor and dozens of C-level executives, Georgia businesses, and organizations from around the state. So we're very excited to have the backing and support of these individuals at the highest levels of our government and businesses. Next slide, Stephanie. So today's webinar will introduce you to the Georgia Smart program, or reintroduce it if you're familiar with it, as this year's program will be a little bit different from previous years. Then we'll explain the application process and take any questions that you have. You can use the Q&A area of BlueJeans to submit written questions at any time, and we'll be reviewing those questions and answering them at the end of today's presentation. Additionally, if you have any additional Georgia Smart questions, you can always use the Ask a Question form, which is on our website, or you can email us directly at inclusiveinnovation@gottech.edu, and all this will be repeated at the end of the presentation. Next slide. So we really believe that all communities can be smart. No matter the size or population or location or income, it should not restrict you from becoming a smart community, because SMART is a process of continuous improvement and integration of people, data, partnerships, and suitable technologies. Establishing a smart community requires an inclusive set of voices from all walks of life in order to fully understand the needs of your community. So we really believe in a multidisciplinary applied research approach. We believe that's at the heart of building an equitable and smart community. Communities should be empowered in understanding and applying the most innovative and suitable research to address your complex problems. And we work to facilitate partnerships between researchers and your communities and industries. We really promote that collaboration. So although a smart city is a complex system, we use an ecosystem approach that spans multi-domains and touches on three key pillars: vision, functions, and components. The vision of a smart city that we have is that a community should be safe, secure, sustainable, and equitable for all residents. And we believe Georgia Smart's emphasis is on the research, education, and advocacy aspects of that. Additionally, we assist the function of municipalities by connecting them with Georgia Tech's applied and multidisciplinary research and teaching to address those challenging and complex civic and societal issues. And lastly, components of a smart city include obviously the technology and data that support it. Next slide, please. So the Georgia Smart Communities Challenge was started with a mission to empower communities of any size in the state of Georgia to envision and plan for a smart and connected future. And we really want to have additional impacts in community development, workforce development, and really making Georgia a technological leader. So that's what this opportunity is all about. We want to empower these communities to become smart and connected communities. Next slide. So what is this program? What is it all about? Georgia Smart is a non-traditional grant focused on building a cohort of like-minded communities in the state through a research-led process that builds on fundamental scientific and technical expertise from Georgia Tech researchers. So the program works to educate communities on a sustainable smart process, relying on people and data, and communities to implement technology pilots and then assess those pilots' impacts on the community. Next slide, please. So in the 3 years since we've started this program, we've had the pleasure of working with 12 communities from around the state, as seen here on the map. And we really hope to reach out to new communities in subsequent years, including this one. Information on all of these projects can be found on the website if you're interested in learning more about these projects and their impact. So we hope you explore our website and find out about these 12 communities and their projects. Next slide. The Georgia Smarts program has already engaged with communities representing about 2/3 of the population of the state of Georgia through the local government's leadership's interaction directly with our program or through attendance at one of our many educational workshops or webinars. We also distribute a monthly e-newsletter with a subscriber base of over 5,000 people. Additionally, over 100 Georgia Tech researchers have connected with our program and have expressed interest in working with local governments on smart cities projects. That database of researchers is available and accessible on our website if you're interested in reaching out to any researchers outside of the Georgia Smart program in any of your work in technology. Next slide, please. So data is a very significant part of what smart cities relies on in order to make informed and sustainable decisions. And over the past 3 years, our Georgia Smart grant communities have collected a vast amount of data to support their projects, as shown here. We've collected data that varies from housing records to emergency vehicles, to connected vehicles, to weather, sidewalks, and road conditions, and of course collected hundreds and hundreds of community surveys that includes the voices of the citizens. Next slide, please. Additionally, on our GT side, the researchers have come from a variety of different disciplines, including architecture, engineering, the sciences, computer science, and even public policy. And we continue to add new disciplines and areas of researchers every day that are interested in working with our local governments and communities around the state. Next slide. Additionally, as part of the Georgia Smart program, we work with communities to select student interns to work in those communities on the Georgia Smart projects as part of our Smart Community Corps. Students work full-time to support your Georgia Smart project for 10 to 12 weeks during the summer, and this has historically been a very beneficial aspect of the program as students have contributed significantly to these projects. We anticipate continuing this program in the future, including this year, so we look forward to your involvement with our students if you're selected to be part of this program. Next slide. So Georgia Smart continues to grow, and we're very proud of the community support, including the interactions of the communities that they're having with their citizens through stakeholder engagements and meetings, as well as the level of matching funds that have been contributed from the communities they've brought to the program. We also hope that communities continue to work in smart cities beyond just the program length. And many have been able to do so, bringing in additional support of resources of over $1.5 million of additional investments to promote smart cities growth in their communities. Next slide. So we have put a lot of our knowledge into a Georgia Smart Field Guide, which we have available to help communities understand the smart community development process that we've kind of developed in the research-led area. That is on our website. It's also available in hard copy. If you're interested in getting a copy of that, we can try to mail one out to you. Next slide, please. So that was some background on the Georgia Smart program historically. Now I would like to introduce Stephanie Broxton, our Community Research Manager again, who's going to talk about this year's specific opportunity in Georgia Smart and the application process. And again, we'll be taking questions at the end, so feel free to type them in the Q&A area at any time. Welcome, Stephanie.
Thank you so much, Greg. This year, Georgia Smart intends to support the larger connectivity efforts happening across the state by empowering communities to harness available funding opportunities through planning support. We want to assist communities in optimizing access to broadband internet and facilitate integrating associated technologies by providing know-how at no cost. Georgia Smart is looking to support projects that increase digital inclusion by providing greater access to broadband services to community members, assist the community in adopting new technologies or strategies, including piloting a use case, and/or increases the ability of the public to understand and utilize available technologies. Communities should submit applications to solve problems related to 3 areas: agricultural technology, for example, using broadband to connect farms for smart agriculture; healthcare, for example, installing telehealth units in a local hospital; and workforce education and development, for example, pursuing high-speed bandwidth in classrooms. Because the topic is narrow in focus, Georgia Smart Program Management can provide researcher matching with the community cohort. It also allows faculty to work with more than one community at once, expanding the reach of the program and allowing for synergies to develop naturally among cohort members. This gives way to a newly formatted community research co-creation model, as seen on this slide. This structure will include one lead Georgia Tech researcher who will guide communities throughout the project and a network of supporting faculty who will provide relevant workshops that communities can leverage to bolster funding proposals, among other services. Listed on this slide are the points of value that Georgia Smart provides to communities. The first is proposal development. As developing a formal proposal for GBDI funding will be a linchpin of the first half of Georgia Smart programming, a representative of GBDI will be lending their expertise to the cohort, and communities can expect that they'll have a strong proposal to submit for Georgia Broadband Deployment Initiative funding. The second is the research team. Our researchers will be fully funded, and communities will not be expected to pay for any researcher services. The third is network support. A network of partners and faculty will provide support in the form of monthly workshops to assist with the execution of projects, refine and develop long-term project plans, develop a funding proposal, and by participating in the offered targeted educational workshops, communities will have the opportunity to learn from a variety of mentors on topics that are critical to project development. Communities can utilize this information to improve their projects, as well as in general in the implementation of other smart city-related goals. The fourth is project execution. The research team will assist communities throughout the project timeline, including everything from funding, proposal writing, and research plan development to implementation and evaluation. This will aid communities through project steps where they have limited expertise while also providing additional manpower for accomplishing tasks. Next is the cohort community. Selected communities will be a part of a cohort of communities that are all working towards projects under similar topic area. This synergy between projects will allow communities to learn from each other in a meaningful way and create lasting relationships with diverse communities across the state. This model also allows communities to learn best practices from other smart communities and network partners. The Smart Community Corps is the first statewide program of its kind for civic-minded students to gain hands-on smart city experience. And they work as a summer cohort and in community pairs and are placed into local municipalities to support smart technology projects that are dedicated to creating livable and equitable communities. The final bullets on this slide go back to the smart ecosystem Greg was referring to earlier, and that we are connected with many places across the state and we can provide that to our communities. So, who is Georgia Smart looking to serve specifically? To address the inequities created by the digital divide, we have aligned our request for proposals with the Department of Community Affairs to assist communities in applying for the Georgia Broadband Deployment Initiative funding that will be available in the coming months. Georgia Smart will help communities to leverage the resources of expert faculty and researchers to plan for a project that will increase the availability of broadband and its impactful applications in their communities. For that reason, the Georgia Smart program will look a little different this year than it has in the past, so we want to make sure you understand the requirements for our 2021 request for proposals. This starts with the areas we hope to serve through the program this year. We are looking to serve communities listed by the Department of Community Affairs Georgia Broadband Deployment Initiative as unserved. As you can see on this slide, those communities are highlighted in the light orange colors on this map. While these are the communities of focus for 2021, we also recognize that the granularity of this map does not allow for information on the neighborhood level, and we defer to communities to apply based on their individual connectivity situation. To assist communities throughout the program, Georgia Smart is providing a research team consisting of Georgia Tech faculty members from different disciplines. The research team serving communities will be primarily composed of two parts. The lead researcher, who will provide the services listed on this slide, like program planning assistance, leadership and coordination between communities, and of course, their expertise in research and technical system implementation. This lead researcher's work will also be supplemented by a team of faculty members who will provide workshops to communities on topics relevant to both connectivity and proposal and project development, including things like data management and community engagement as examples. By participating in Georgia Smart, communities will be both committing to contributing resources and will benefit from receiving resources as well. You can see on the left what communities are contributing to be part of the Georgia Smart Communities Challenge, and on the right you can see what they will be receiving. Communities should come to the application process with a proposed project that is solving a problem in their community that includes a project champion and support from their senior leadership. This support should include funds for the project lead's time and funding for the project itself. What they will be receiving throughout the program cycle is expertise without fee, assistance in the execution of their project, as well as the education from targeted workshops that will assist communities in bolstering their funding applications. Finally, the communities will experience the benefits of the pilot and research outcomes as a result of this program. To accomplish all the necessary phases of a connectivity project, this year Georgia Smart is transitioning to a 2-year model. You can see the outline of the program and the associated activities on this slide. Georgia Smart projects will undergo 4 phases over 2 years. In the first year, the goal of Georgia Smart will be to assist communities in planning a project that fits the proposal requirements for the Georgia Broadband Deployment Initiative funding and begin engagement with stakeholders in the community to shape the project and the proposal. In the second year, Georgia Smart researchers will assist communities in implementing their proposed project. You can see key points from each phase on this slide. You can see that the overall arc of the project will be to make plans, engage stakeholders, test a smaller, moderately sized pilot, and evaluate the outcomes of it. This will happen sequentially over 2 years, but we understand that this is an outline that may require communities progressing at different rates. Researchers will be assisting communities along the way, as well as defining ways each project can be improved to include ideal outcomes. You can view a detailed description of the activities occurring in each phase located in our request for proposals. Here's the link where you can view that request for proposals document. If you or a colleague are interested in applying for Georgia Smart 2021, we encourage you to visit our website to view an overview, frequently asked questions, as well as full requests for proposals. We hope you consider applying for the program this year. On this slide, you can see information from our website, which outlines the important information you can consider during the application period. You can see there are links to both the request for proposals and some frequently asked questions. Some key dates to note include both the required pre-application deadline of May 3rd and the final application deadline of June 1st. We plan to notify communities of their selection in July of 2021 with a planned program start date of August 2021. You can also see the links for our applications in Qualtrics in this location. Key application requirements to keep in mind include the proposal should be led by a government entity in the state and include a letter of support from local leadership. Topics should be focused in the area of agricultural technology, healthcare, or workforce education and development under the umbrella of community connectivity. Pre-application requirements include information on the following topic areas: vision, motivation, project, and point of contact information. The final application includes all those categories, as well as information about partnerships, leadership support, financial support, and references as applicable. A key element of Georgia Smart is to assist communities in preparing to apply for Georgia Broadband Deployment Initiative funding that will enhance broadband connections in their community. Because the proposal development process is a large part of the program in year 1, Communities should prepare to meet the requirements of the Georgia Broadband Deployment Initiative when applying for Georgia Smart. While the funding coming from federal, state, local, or partner organizations may not currently be available, communities should be thinking about what partnerships could contribute to this funding and prepare accordingly. As you're planning your application to Georgia Smart 2021, here are some additional points to keep in mind. As you are thinking about the types of partnerships that will be necessary for your project, be sure to include as many letters of support to show this as needed. Ensure your project is addressing a community need. Tie it to goals of the municipality over time. Finally, review the Georgia Broadband Deployment Initiative website, which has more information about that program, and identify how your project best fits into those parameters. Identify those ways within your proposal as possible. You can find the layout of the application portal on our website as you are preparing to submit your pre-applications and final applications. On this slide, you can see the parameters for each application. The required pre-application is due on May 3rd, while the final application is due on June 1st. Each has a 2,500 word limit, and we recommend around 2 paragraphs for each question. The final application has a 1-document, 25-page limit to include all external materials, including any letters of support or understanding. As we now move to taking your questions about the 2021 Georgia Smart Communities Challenge, we would also like to remind you that we can support you after this webinar as well. Our website has an area to take your questions, and we welcome you to email the Partnership for Inclusive Innovation at inclusiveinnovation@gautech.edu with any follow-up questions you might have.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. So at this time, we'd like to take any questions from any attendees or to clarify anything that was talked about today in today's presentation. We do understand that the opportunity this year for Georgia Smart is different from the past 3 years. So if you do have any questions or concerns regarding the changes, we're happy to answer those now. Additionally, you can email us or ask a question on the website, and we're happy to get in touch with you. Additionally, we do have some opportunities to speak with us specifically. You can sign up for those through a Calendly link that Stephanie has set up to connect with us. Those are also available on the website as well. So I'm seeing a question from someone asking about award amounts. So that is one of the big key differences this year compared to previous years. This is no longer a cash or financial award program. So you are not receiving any specific amount of funding from the program. You are receiving all the additional supporting items that Stephanie outlined in the value slide. So we're connecting you with Georgia Tech researchers without fee. We're building a cohort of communities working in the area of connectivity to promote Georgia in improving broadband, as well as the pilot applications in those areas. Thanks for posting that, Stephanie. She just posted a link to the website where you can get additional information, including the RFP specifically itself. Additional questions? Okay, I'm not seeing any additional questions come in the chat or through the Q&A. We'll give it just one more minute just in case anyone's typing. But again, we're happy to take additional questions through the multiple array of ways of reaching out to us. inclusiveinnovation@gautech.edu, the ask a question box on the website, or you can sign up for a specific phone call with us through the website as well. Okay, so I am seeing something that says, thanks for sharing the context of this year's RFP, being that that the support offered by the program is targeted to underserved communities. Funding is often an access issue or barrier if applicants are not secured funding at the time of application submitted, can they still apply? So the answer is absolutely. Part of what we'll be working with you over the course of the first half year or so is working to pull those partnerships and funding models together in order to allow you to be able to apply to the GBDI grant. So that's obviously a big portion of this. We do understand that the communities most in need are usually the ones with the least amount of resources. So we are hoping that you do your due diligence in working on developing partnerships, obviously with broadband providers. That's a big piece of this. But we will be working with you to establish where the funding from your community will need to be coming from. Okay, so at this time, that ends today's informational webinar on the 2021 Georgia Smart Communities Challenge. We thank you for your time today. We'd love to take any additional questions outside this opportunity. And again, this recording will be up on our website on the media area. So thank you everyone for your time. Have a great afternoon.